Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, I have another breakup story to share with you and give my take on. And if you have a breakup story you'd like to get my take on, visit writemac.com, send it in. I'll take a look at it and possibly do a YouTube video just like this. And if you like this video, throw me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, throw me a thumbs down. And please feel free to make some comments and give some advice down below if you've had a similar situation in the past and you could shed some light. So let's get right into this one. Thank you for reading my story. Thank you for saying thank you. I'm 50 years old and my ex-girlfriend is 33. She has been divorced and has 3 kids. Okay, so you have 33 to 50. That's quick math right there. It's 17 years. The idea that she's actually 33 instead of 23 is a big difference. 33, you got a good amount of time that you've become an adult. You have some life experiences. You know who you are. You know where you're going, hopefully. So you being 50 years old and that age gap, that's always going to be a bit of an issue, no matter what anyone says. But women are attracted to men that know where they're going, who they are, their identity, and what purpose they have. And at 50 years old, you probably are at that point where you know who you are, where you're headed, and that offers a lot of stability. And a lot of times you'd think, oh, because you're older, it's just financial stability. Yes, probably is. You haven't mentioned that, but also the stability of just who you are and what makes you comfortable in life. You're not an erratic person. At 50 years old, you should know who you are, and that's probably what she's attracted to, and that's probably what was lacking in her past relationship. Let me know if I'm wrong or right on that in the comments. She has been divorced and has 3 kids. Okay, so whenever you take on 3 kids, no matter what, age gap or no age gap, you got to ask yourself, do I like kids? Am I willing to really take this on and take this seriously? Because in the beginning, it could just be like, oh, we took the kids out for ice cream, we went to the zoo, you did some fun things. But then when it becomes full-time or you're going to move in, you got to really think about that, because I'll tell you one thing, and I have never dated a woman that had kids before. I've had a lot of friends, and I've dealt with a lot of people through this channel that have shared their stories with me, and we've talked. But I know this is true, that those kids are most likely going to come first. So you're going to be at the end of the line of 3 other kids in a lot of situations, and you just got to ask yourself, can you handle that and appreciate that she's being a mom first and foremost? And that's just going to be human nature for the most part. So you're going to have to share and divide up your love and affection and attention that you actually are getting. If you're okay with that and taking that on board, go all in. I'm also divorced with no kids, so you understand the divorce factor, but you don't have kids. So this is going to be a learning curve for you. Obviously, if you just say you like the kids, it's going to be different than when you're living with them, going through their ups and downs. And I don't know their ages either. We have been together for 13 months, and we're engaged. Okay, so a year and a month. Seems a bit quick to get engaged, but you know what? You know, if you're 50 years old and she's 33, she knows what she wants. You've both been divorced, so I don't have a problem with that. She has bipolar 2 and hates to be alone. Okay, do you have any experience being with a woman like that? How is she combating that? Is she just accepting that as a fact? In other words, is she saying like, well, I'm just this way because I'm bipolar 2, or does she seek therapy? Does she go to counseling? Does she take medication? It's one thing to say you are a certain thing. It's another thing to say, I'm doing the best I can right now, and I'm really working on this and getting better. I know a relative of mine that had bipolar disorder in some way said yoga and meditation helped her a lot. She feels like she doesn't even consider herself to be bipolar anymore. It also probably served you to do some of your own research on that. The fact that she hates to be alone could be an issue long term. That means she's highly attached to attention and affection. Before me, she would date guys after guys just to be with someone. Okay, that would be hating to be alone. How do you know that? Did she tell you that? She would have sex with them because she thinks that's what would make them like her more. Well, this is maybe a pattern she's been following a long time since she was young, and yeah, that would apply to the fact that she hates to be alone. She likes to get attention. Obviously, that's not going to work out long term. Those are short-term fixes. And I'm just questioning, how do you know about this? Is this a conclusion you made, or this is something she feels is true about herself? She did not have a good childhood. Her parents were not there for her growing up. hence that explains some of these issues. Our relationship was solid, and our kids and I got along well. Well, it's solid's a good way to be. You should be in a honeymoon phase. You should be rose petals and wine glasses and be in a really good place at a year, especially if you're getting engaged. And the fact that you guys get along well, I don't know if that's a positive statement. Me and the kids get along well. I mean, are you on board to live with 3 kids? I don't know their age, but especially if they're not teenagers yet, it's got to be more than just getting along well. It's got to be, I'm willing to be all in. I'm willing to be on board. I'm willing to help support these kids. I don't know what's going on with the ex-husband, but it's a lot to take on beyond just getting along, because there's going to be some ups and downs on that. We were like a family. I was with her every day and most nights. Also was in the process of moving in with her. Okay, if you hadn't moved in with someone that's bipolar and hates being alone, you probably should do that before you actually get married, because that's a whole different relationship in my book, and you really get to see someone's true colors when you're around them 24/7, sharing bills, sharing bedrooms. It's totally different than dating and seeing each other, 4 or 5 times a week. I'll give you an example. When you're dating, you are actually leading up to the meeting. Oh, I'm going out to dinner with my girlfriend tonight, 7 p.m. So before you go out, you take a shower and maybe you put on some cologne. You really get ready. You before you get there, you lead up to it. And so when you go to dinner, it's a special time. If you live together and have dinner 7 days a week, it kind of takes away from everything. So it's, you definitely need to live with each other first, especially with kids involved. Her love language is physical touch and words of affirmation, which I did not pay attention to. This is a book, I believe, The 5 Love Languages by Gary something. I believe that's where you got that from. I believe that this is true, that there is a love language for different people. Just basically, I've said this before, what's your definition of love? And for some people it's affection, for some people it's affirmation, words of affirmation. And you're saying I didn't pay attention to this. It probably just wasn't to your attention yet. And the fact that you broke up, you were looking for ways that you could have improved. And it's always hindsight 2020, bud. I mean, come on. I grew up in a non-affectionate family. I've mentioned this in other videos. I'm the same way. It doesn't mean that I'm not a good boyfriend or a good partner. It just means that I grew up in a non-affectionate family. So holding hands has always been a little bit awkward for me. People that hold hands in the mall, or when you go to a restaurant and you sit in booths and it's just you and your girlfriend or you and your wife, and some people sit on the same side. I've always thought that was kind of weird. But now looking at it, those people are just more affectionate, and I just didn't grow up that way. My father's ex-Marine in Vietnam, was a truck driver, a very brute kind of a guy, and not affectionate at all. My mother wasn't affectionate. Great mom, nothing bad to say in that regard, but that's just how I grew up. So I know where you're coming from on that. And I've had girlfriends in the past ask me why, and I've had other girlfriends be the same way and like the fact that I'm not overly affectionate. So it's not wrong or right. Like you said, it's just how you were raised and what you're used to. But I can say from experience that can change over time, and you can appreciate affection more as you get it more from who you're with, if that makes sense. I did try my best to remember to hug her and ask her about her day and things that she wanted in a relationship, but I tend not to remember. Oh, well, you do the best you can, and you go from there. The day before she broke up with me, we had a talk, and I was going to move in that weekend. I thought everything was okay until the next morning. So you were definitely not on the same page. When you break up and it came out of nowhere and you were just about to move in, then that means you guys were in 2 different playing fields. Or, in this particular case, you are dealing with someone that's bipolar and can be in mood swings and change who they are quite quickly. And people change in a moment. I've always said this, someone can go through some bad news in their family. There was bad traffic. The boss yelled at them, and then they're thinking, oh my God, now we're going to get married. Fuck this. I don't want to get married. It just stacks and stacks and stacks. And then they make a decision based on negative emotions from a variety of things. So that could be the case. She called and ended it. I did all the wrong things, like asking to let's work it out. Well, I mean, that's a knee-jerk reaction that a lot of people do, so don't get on top of yourself, especially if you weren't expecting it and you thought everything was okay. It's been 7 weeks since the breakup. I know my chances of us getting back together are almost zero because of her past relationships. The question is, do you want to get back with someone that you were engaged to that's bipolar, hates being alone, and a few days leading up to living together, she pulled the plug? Is this someone you want to get back together for you? That's a really good question you have to ask yourself. And why would you think there's 0% because of her past relationships? There's more information I'm leaving out. Okay, well, consider doing a live coaching session if you like this video and spend an hour to 2 hours getting everything out, because it's very important moving forward from this relationship that you get everything out, get some clarity so that you can enter a new relationship, not just get this ex back necessarily, but enter a new relationship crystal clear on what happened and what was maybe your fault and not your fault, because it seems like right here you're blaming yourself for some stuff that I don't think is going to serve you moving forward. I can't fit it all in. It's hard to explain in words, okay? I have not seen her since the breakup, and she has blocked me. So she's all in on the breakup, and you don't really know what happened. And mystery can really play games with your head because you don't know if she blocked you. I'm trying to move on, but I can't stop thinking about her. So 7 weeks, no contact. This is normal. You got a mouse wheel running in your head. Right now, by sending this story and writing this out, you're in a solution-based mode. You're looking for answers, and you are trying. You are trying. And you keep trying different things, like if you want to try a coaching session, or you start going to the gym, or you read a new book. And one of those things are going to work, and all of a sudden from that book that you read, you get one or two things or one or two quotes. If you do a coaching session, this video I made for you, get one or two things. And those things start to stack in your favor, and you start moving forward, and slowly you get some momentum, and the wheel starts turning. It doesn't happen all at once, unfortunately. And that's what people look for, is that quick cure, and that's why they want someone to come back to cure them. But actually, I don't know if this was a healthy relationship if she ended it the way she did so abruptly. If you guys would have continued on, she would have been still susceptible to doing this 6 months down the road, a year down the road, whatever, and it would have been a lot worse if you got a divorce. I know she has moved on. It's who she is. Again, you're talking about who she is. My question is, who are you? Who are you as an individual? What do you want to do the next 5 years with your life? You understand what I'm saying? A lot of it's based on who she is, where she's going. She makes bad decisions. She's bipolar. She's this. At this point, you're broken up. She's not your responsibility, okay? The responsibility you have now is to be a good human being and move forward, okay? And possibly meet someone new in the future and go on with your life and realize that there is something outside of this broken relationship, and you could learn some things from it, especially if you unpack it. I mean, you've already learned like the love language idea and these kinds of things. It's been tough. Breakups are tough. They suck. I understand. I've been there. That's why I do this channel. I'm still torn apart after almost 2 months. It's not uncommon, my friend, but right now, by writing this out and going this level, you're taking the next step. Why would I want someone that does not want me back? Dumb, right? Actually, it's counterintuitive. A lot of times we want what we can't have or what's not available, and we especially want what we once had and don't have any longer, or was taken away from us in some way. It's just like the little kid with the toy truck, and he's got 5 different items that are his toys, and his friend comes over and takes that truck he hasn't played with in 6 months, and now he suddenly wants the truck. You know what I'm saying? You've seen kids do this before. So it's human nature. It's a little deeper with a breakup because you've been rejected. You're a little cloudy on why. You thought things were well. So you're not dumb. You want to be validated that you were a good boyfriend and you were there for her, and you thought it was a good relationship. I just want these emotions to quiet down. Thank you again. Well, it's going to take time. There's a lot of different things you can do. Exercise is one. Continue to be in no contact. Continue to possibly date now that it's been 2 months. Even go on bad dates. Go on dates with women that you don't find highly attractive or anything like that. Just to go on dates, just to be with the opposite sex and have a good time. And it doesn't have to be a date. It could be a friend or something like that. But make sure you're out and active. You're not just sitting at home. And you should have some kind of purpose. As a man, you should have a purpose in your life. Is that your job? Is that a hobby you have? I don't know. It could be a sports team that you follow, but I mean, the purpose should be carrying you right now. You should put a lot of time and energy, because right now, not being in a relationship, you have more time and energy to put into something else. So I hope that helps you. Please visit writemac.com if you've got a breakup story, or if you'd like to book a live coaching and really unpack where you're at in your breakup. Otherwise, thank you for supporting the channel.